Well, hello there, and welcome to a quick video looking at the November patch notes, taking a look at all of the stuff that was going on in there, as well as the future items to be added to the game. This is going to be the first in a series of videos detailing stuff about Back 4 Blood, taking a look at a few of the different things in there, including, but not limited to, some of the mechanics and a deep dive into weapons, breakpoints, and stuff like that. But to start off with, we're going to take a look at the November update, just to review what happened in there and what changes were made. So overall, the main target was some bug fixes, one of which didn't actually get fixed. But we're not going to go into that too much. We're going to talk about what should be and then take a look at what will be and what is. All right. So, big things. All cleaners available immediately to use. That's just kind of a nice thing there. You don't have to grind through anything to be able to play the characters, which is good because some of the characters that are really nice to play were locked behind that wall. And then completing any campaign chapter unlocks all the previous chapters. That's just kind of good to have. Alright, and let's see. What else do we have? Let's see. In-game voice chat can now be disabled in audio options. That's kind of nice if you don't like to have that turned on. It doesn't affect me, but if you don't want to hear people, that's super nice to have. Then being able to mute, super nice there. Getting sent directly to Fort Hope, nice for new players. More stats. More stats are always nice. I like to see more stats. Mute all, great. Love mute all. I play enough MOBAs to know that being able to mute everyone is super convenient. First aid cabinets now show a preview of how much health they heal. They do not do that yet. It'd be really nice if they did, but hopefully they correct that one real quick and get that done. This here, super nice there. Healing in Fort Hope, that's pretty great. All right, well, let's see. Let's dive into some of the other things. Let's see. Weapons no longer revert to their default loadout. That's just kind of nice. Bots using defibs more effectively. That's nice. Bots are still super dumb when it comes to reviving and getting you off the ground, so that's not so great. Let's see. Quality of life not being outlined. All right. Destroying the nest in Nightmare difficulty spawns an endless horde, so haven't come across that one yet because we don't play a lot of Nightmare, but that one should be pretty interesting. Bob's arm showing up, definitely a nice thing there. I'm glad Dr. Rogers' Neighborhood is adjusting for solo players. It can be a bit ridiculous if you're trying to play solo to gather every single one of those, so nice to see that we're having some adjustments there. And then let's see, so negative ammo capacity instantly. So here's where we get to the big things of this change, of this patch, and where people are upset. But the thing to remember is it's a new game. It's a new game that is not fully fleshed out yet, and the devs have to balance it to get the gameplay they want out of it. And as they add more cards and more cleaners and all kinds of other stuff into this, you're gonna see more changes happen. And I know it's a PvE game, so having certain things that are overpowered may not be the worst thing in the world, but still, you want to have things properly balanced to give the ability to have a variety of playstyles. So selectively reducing, nerfing cards that are overperforming makes a lot of sense. If there are certain playstyles that are completely mandatory, that just decreases from the variety and fun of the game, in my opinion. So I don't mind seeing stuff nerfed. It'd be nice if they had buffed more cards that were underperforming, but the other thing to consider, the game has not been out for very long, so there's not necessarily a large volume of data to actually get some good analysis on to figure out what cards are overperforming, underperforming, or just not being fit into builds right now. All that said, they definitely have a hate relationship with melee builds and are coming out after those in full force. So let's see. Negative ammo capacity effects from cards now instantly apply. That's the way it should be. That seems like how we'd want it to happen anyways. Then we've got melee damage down 10% on batter up. Brazen stamina efficiency to 20% from 30%. So just straight 10% nerfs to those two cards. Breakout, use time decreased to 3 seconds from 4 seconds. Nice little minor buff to breakout. I don't know if that's enough to make people that weren't using it start using it. It's nice to break out a little bit faster, but it seems to me like the bigger thing on breakout would be the time between uses. So we'll see there. I don't typically run this card. I've thought about running this card, but we'll see. Face your fears, 2 temp health instead of 3. Again, melee overperforming. Fresh bandage applies the trauma heal effect when spawning into the safe room it's selected in. That is super nice. If that wasn't applying when you selected it, definitely a huge buff to that card, and I'm glad to see that. Ignore the pain, restores health instead of temp HP. That one I've seen people in favor of and people complaining about. I can definitely see why on each. It's nice to be able to restore that permanent HP, but on the same time, temp HP lets you get over your trauma health bar, which is definitely preferred. So I can see why that one is considered a pretty good nerf. Inspire and Sacrifice. This one, I feel like this one is it's a lateral move. It's not a buff, it's not a nerf. We're going from 25 over 20 seconds to 20 over 15 seconds. So, well, let's just pull the calculator out and take a look at that. So if we have 25 over 20 seconds, 25 HP divided by 20 seconds, that gives us an HP of 1.25 per second. If we take 20 divided by 15, that gives us 1.33 HP per second. So you have faster HP regeneration over a shorter period of time, which in the instances where you have somebody go down, probably a little bit more useful. So that's why I think this might be a lateral shift over. Instead of giving you as much HP over a longer period of time, it's much more of a burst of HP to help you deal with the immediate consequence of your teammate going down. So I don't know about that one, but I feel like that's not a nerf or a buff. If anything, I might lean more towards it being a buff than a nerf. But let's see. Mean Drunk, melee damage adjusted, less damage there. Pretty big nerf to that one, 15%. And then Method, stamina efficiency adjusted, so less stamina efficiency. And then here's a huge one. 3 bonus copper, down from 5 to a max of 75 from 100. So that's a huge nerf to money grubbers. But if that card's overperforming, there's plenty of other money cards in the game as well. So it could just be that they're trying to promote more cooperation and other card choices there. Spiky Bits, 5% nerf. And then True Grit heal increased, so we got a little bit of a buff to True Grit, so that's nice. Balance updates, quick player inputs, movements are now smoother, quality of life stuff there, rebalance supply point rewards for all campaign chapters and all difficulties. I expect this is supposed to even it out so that you get a more even curve of your supply points, but I'll be honest, it seems like there's still a few missions that give ludicrously low supply point values for finishing them. I'm not entirely sure what these supply points are based off of, but it definitely feels like the time and length of the mission seems to be the overwhelming factor as opposed to the intensity and what you have to do in there. So not sure how I like that one yet. I feel like there's a few missions that ought to give more supply points than they do. Adjusted supply points for speedrun, all right, that's whatever. Adjusted A-bomb health, okay, probably just not quite what they wanted there. And then let's see, this one's a nice one. Players who are grabbed by a crusher are now immune to friendly fire damage while grabbed and for 1.5 seconds after. That one's super nice because anytime somebody's grabbed by something, it's nice to be able to just fire straight into it without worrying about damage, because you know, if you didn't have this, it would be very simple to have your team do more damage to you than the crusher's doing. And then Mom and Carly get fraggers instead of pipes, I believe is what that change was, which is fine. It's it's whatever, they still don't use them particularly effectively. Let's see, then overall breakers got buffed. All of their recovery times were reduced, which I'm okay with, because it felt like a lot of times those breakers were just sitting there for a really long time and pretty easy to kite around. The swarm cloud shrink time is an absolute pain in the butt. That thing gets very small very quickly and forces you to actually take them seriously, which is good, but it's obnoxious. Weak spot bonus damages were nerfed. Not as much HP inside those bonus spots, so you don't do as much damage, which is annoying, but kind of makes sense if things were too easy to kill. Same thing with the ogre, and then Reeker movements are no longer slowed by bullets, but you can still stumble them. That's what matters. Then swarm mode. Let's see, swarm mode. Don't really play swarm mode, but we'll read through these anyways. So we can frenzy, we can cancel, which is just kind of nice. Card updates, got adrenaline fueled and method added to the card pool, kind of nice there. Breakout, decreased use time, so same thing for breakout, same thing for face your fears. Ignore the pain, increases melee damage against mutations. That's kind of nice for swarm mode, makes it easier to kill the other human players. More of the same with the turning adjustments. This is nice. Cleaner team receives a handicap bonus damage, so that when your randoms in your games abandon, you can get that damage bonus to make up for the imbalance there, so that's kind of nice. And then just a straight 25% aim down sight and weapon swap speed. That's kind of nice because you don't get as many cards in swarm mode, so it's nice to just have some of those default things added on there. Quality of life stuff. Smaller swarm comes in faster, crusher health increased. I think I kind of like all of these changes. It felt like in the few swarm modes that I've played, it's felt like the cleaners have a pretty big advantage, and it's very difficult to get your first couple of good rounds of damage in on the cleaners. And this is just gonna decrease that overall time by starting off faster. Nerfs to the Hawker, which is fine. Fuck Hawkers, they're obnoxious as hell. Reekers not slowed by bullets. Tall boy knockback increased. That's probably a nerf to the tall boy. On health is decreased as well, and the overhead melee radius is reduced, and the damage is reduced. Yeah, so tall boy just got straight nerfs across the board. That's a big improvement to infected wounds. Reduces healing by 2%, stacking up to 40%. That is a massive effect. Another quality of life thing right there. You don't have to reload your secondary weapons. That one was always just kind of silly, but that one is fixed there. Bat movement speed increased. Bats do more stumble. That's nice there. We just have, I like these changes that were made to the melee weapons. It makes them feel more different. Otherwise, I feel like everyone just sort of grabbed the axe for the maximum damage, and it had the damage and the stumble and was just kind of all that and a bag of chips. But having the changes here, I think, are a good thing to the melee weapons overall. So we've got bat movement speed increased, so the bat goes faster. The bats do more stumble damage, but they don't do as much physical damage, which I'm okay with. Bats are good for that control and that AoE clear. Axe movement speed increased a little bit, okay. And then the damage was reduced, so not quite as much of a one-shot big killer as it was. And then stumble damage scale reduced, which kind of makes sense. It's an axe, it's not going to stumble as much. Hatchet nerf as well. And then machete buff there. So machete lets you really run around to murderize commons. The hatchet lets you have a little more hybrid there. Bat gives you good control, and the axe gives you still the most damage, just not quite as out of balance from a performance standpoint. So I'm okay with these melee changes. Sucks that you got nerfed, but I'm okay with the changes. It feels better to me. We don't play with controllers around here, so we're not going to worry about that. Let's see. Stamina breath off, that's kind of nice. I like to have it because I like all of the information I can have, but I could definitely see that getting frustrated for some people. Colorblind changes, good. make colorblind mode the best it possibly can be. Inclusion's just great stuff. Yeah, good stuff there. I like all of these things, just making accessibility better. And then here's one, rename solo campaign to training. That's fine. Give us the friggin' mode to actually play solo offline. That is what we're waiting for. That's coming in December. That will be really nice, hopefully. And I'm gonna be really annoyed if this is not the case, but hopefully your decks transition between solo offline and the standard mode. That way you can build decks and troubleshoot them and then bring them directly into your campaigns. That would be really nice, and I hope they add that. I hope that's what they do. All right, let's see. Start, continue, run, rename to play, continue online. Okay, whatever. We've got differentiation between cleaner and written input layouts. That's nice. Navigation updates were so nice. So some of the things beforehand, if you ever entered into a weapon and then hit escape to get out of it, it would reset you to the first page, and that has been fixed. So that is super nice. Just quality of life there. Music not cut in, again, quality of life stuff, just kind of nice. And weapon previews rotate properly. That's nice. I didn't really use that, but it's nice that it's working correctly now. All right, and let's see. Bug fixes. Here's where the controversy is. Heavy hitter. Effects now apply correctly when killing ridden with immediate melee attack. That's kind of nice. It also, unfortunately or fortunately, nerfed the hell out of heavy hitter, which is okay. That card was silly. It did silly things. It needed to be corrected, and it has been. Still a good card, I think, but no longer the overpowered card that it was. Fix some issues related to special spawning. Have not fixed those issues yet. They're working on it, which is okay. It's integral to the game. It's apparently the most complicated portion of the friggin' game, so I'm okay with the fact that it's not corrected yet. What else do we have? Friendly fire, removing Jim's passive. Huge quality of life thing right there. That's just kind of nice. It's bullshit to have your things get done off by your team. Let's see. Fixed a bug where all tornado damage was blocked. That's another nerf to temporary HP. I wish overall throughout everything though, I wish it was a lot more exactly clear how trauma damage related to the system, you know, how much damage you had to take and then at what point your trauma damage started kicking in. Fixed an issue that was causing invisibility of sleepers to display incorrectly. That's fine. Waiting for available respawn message. Okay. Horde timer not resetting after team wipe. That was always kind of funny. You just have a horde timer of, 59 minutes. That was amusing. Fixed an issue where the hag could become unresponsive if players kited her in hunting phase without drawing aggro. That's an interesting one. I'm guessing that makes hags a bit more obnoxious to deal with. Hags have seemed to be particularly annoying. Different icons, that's nice. More information is always good. Rescue pods no longer disappear for players that reconnect to a game they disconnected from. That's nice. That way you can get back into your games. Objective counters now update properly for players. Okay, that's nice. Like that. This is nice. Fixed an issue where only one team upgrade would appear. That's nice because it shows you that you've purchased them all. I do wish they would change the HUD of the actual vendor so that it was clear when one had been purchased, even if you don't have the money to buy it. Put a green check mark through it or a slash through it or something. Some visual indicator on the icon that says, yep, this thing has been purchased. That way you don't have to either check that the icon has displayed or pop open all of your cards to see if you actually have it applied. And let's see. Fixed an issue where damage source for players killed by an ogre stomp was shown in the kill feed as unknown. We still have a few things that show up as unknown, which is kind of interesting. But all right. And then let's see. Fixed player explosive dialogue. Okay, dialogue fixes, whatever. Weapons not displaying correctly in first person if you selected multiple characters. All right, that's an interesting one. Not entirely sure how that glitch would happen, but nice that it's fixed. Can no longer see out of bounds when dying to fall damage or drowning in water. Okay, probably just hitbox detection things there to keep you from falling completely out of the map. And red hit makers not displaying consistently. All right. Corrected bullet shell behavior when a player uses their aim down sights with a high zoom equipped. Okay, not entirely sure what that one's doing. I expect it's probably something to do with the scanning of the weapons and projectiles as they go to their targets. So hopefully that makes it a bit more consistent to use, because I know I've had issues with bullet placement on high zoom scopes not feeling correct. So hopefully that makes it feel a bit better. Corrected ogre tumor toss behavior towards players it cannot reach. Okay, probably just quality of life there makes the ogre behave a bit more rationally. And that one's just kind of funny. Cleaners can no longer be picked up from a ledge hanging by a player underneath them. Makes sense. That's a bit silly to be able to do that. So I'm sure there's a couple of spots where it's annoying because it's easy to get underneath them to pick them up. It also seems kind of funny that there would be a ledge hang where you can get underneath the player to pick it up. You'd think you'd just fall off the ledge at that point, but I don't know. It's probably a couple of spots where it can happen. Fixed an issue where the character card would not be active after a player joined late in the game. Okay, that's nice. And then fixed for Windows 11 if you have Windows 11, if that's even out right now. All right, so getting rid of breaker sound effects after the breaker's killed, that's nice. The armory, Bob's arm shows up correctly, that's fine. Second instance of the charred ridden. Ugh. Yeah, get rid of that, that's fine. And let's see, fixed an issue where the ogre stopped tracking the targeting player and becomes stuck while trying to despawn. I think I might have seen that one a little bit, but it's nice that it's corrected out. And then getting a breaker to spawn when the director card's played. All right. Good fixes overall. And then we have the swarm corrections. So player ridden spawn timers now visible. That's nice. Penalties in private PvP. That's also nice. What I want to see though is when we're going to get the ability to have a full 8-player lobby in a private mode. That would be really nice. Maybe that's in there. I haven't seen it, but we haven't really tried with it yet. All right, temporary HP deteriorating. That's super nice. Oh, that's so nice. That way, if somebody uses a bunch of pills, you don't just start losing them. That is incredibly quality of life. UI messaging informing players that the game can be left without penalty in private swarm PvPs. And now that you can, it's correct there. Let's see. Stinger variants can no longer spawn in the world mid-leap. All right, that's an interesting bug, but I could see that being abused. Jump into a leap and then spawn in while you're in the air, so you have no no ability to respawn. That's fine. And then proper stunning, that's good there. That's also good. I'll keep the ridden spawning at the appropriate distance. And icon change, that's fine. Explosive dialogue change, that's fine. Let's see, fixed an issue with the camera would tilt for ridden players after loading the plan B. That's a peculiar bug, but good, it's fixed. And then red hit markers, so all of the same bug fixes from above. Caused bullet shells to collide with the player's gun when aiming down sights with high zoom. That's probably what the bullet shell issue was above as well. More detail down here. All right, so that's interesting. Probably affected damage then. Maybe it was just a visual bug, but I'm guessing it probably affected performance. So interesting bug to have there. Same fix there. Ridden players now hear retch ping dialogue. All right, that's nice. And stalkers no longer get released directly on top of cleaners that use breakout. That is also kind of nice. And then we have Muxie, the Twitch extension. Yeah, this is interesting. I run this. Haven't really been able to use the bits yet, but the voting's worked out pretty well. So that's a fun extension. Highly recommend. If you want a chance to use it, drop by the stream. Links are down below. All right, so that is all the bug fixes. Let's take a look at what we have coming. See a bit of speculation on there. So let's take a look here. So if you're not familiar with it, this is a Trello document that the devs use to post potential potential future things, stuff they're working on, stuff that's going to be coming out soon. So it gives us the ability to take a look at some stuff and some speculation. So let's see. So far released, we've got all of the stuff that's been released. We just went through all of that. Not worried about that. All right, so here we have fixed for special spawning, unintentional spawn card repetition suspected. So they're working on that. Let's see, in testing. So they're working on that. Hopefully that comes out soon so that the specials are corrected. Wide monitor improvements, that's fine. Streamer friendly mode, that'll be nice. Streamer friendly modes are pretty great. That way you can avoid flaming other people. Usually that's gonna have stuff like blocking the names of your teammates, things like that. All good stuff, because sometimes chats can be toxic. Not that mine would ever be toxic, but you know, sometimes they are. Then move jukebox music to music slider. That's nice, because sometimes that music can be really friggin' loud. And then quick play into a match, load with no copper. That's an interesting one. Hopefully they also balance that for where they're quick playing into a match, unless they're spawning at the beginning for that, but all right. And then this will be nice, dying with ADS, respawning with the effect on ADS zoom. That'll be nice to be rid of that one. I've never had that happen during the campaign, but it is obnoxious in Fort Hope to have to deal with that. All right, let's see, offline campaign with progression. So in testing, obviously that's going to be the stuff that comes out the soonest, but then we have our active and to do. So active, offline campaign with progression, that'll be really nice. Matchmaking stability, super nice there as well. Option to stay together, oh, that'll be really nice. If you've got a good random team and you want to stay together, that will be fantastic. And then a player card to remove attachments, that'll also be pretty good. And then, of course, the Shakespeare Gaming favorite. If you've ever seen us when we're playing KF2, you know that we are a bunch of kick-happy motherfuckers. And here we have the ability to vote to kick, and that one will be quite nice. Dropping out of matches and reconnecting, causing primary to weapon to disappear. Peculiar error there. That'll be nice to see that gone. Let's see, applied Ultimate Edition cleaner skins. That'll be good, just consistency there. Fix the ping there, that'll be nice. Ridden practice area, that'll be so nice for actually doing breakpoint testing and weapon type testing. I'd be able to do that in Fort Hope, that'll be really nice. I hope they also give the ability to choose different weapon rarity types and be able to use those in the ridden testing area. Then we have new card type, that'll be interesting. I'm gonna look forward to seeing what they do with that. And then too many cleaners in a campaign. Never had that error happen, but it'll be nice to fix that. And then we have the to-do list. So these are things that may or may not happen, but hopefully do. Hopefully they're gonna be interesting. So text size, that'll be nice to have fixed. Getting the player name by the rescue pod, that'll be nice. It's always kind of funny to just have the bot, showing there. Then we've got secret interactable accomplishments. That'll be interesting. Get the achievements to work out nicely. Fail safes for matching into swarms. That'll be great. And then, yeah, not quick playing into finale maps. Not quick playing into finale maps is super nice. That one's always just a bummer for the team. Then erratic. Yeah, this punching bag area is just kind of interesting. And stun guns not working in tall boys, that'll be nice to fix. New difficulty, that one, I don't know about this new difficulty. I'm gonna be really curious about what this new difficulty is, whether that's gonna be a difficulty harder than Nightmare, which would be weird, or if it's a bridge difficulty between recruit and veteran, or veteran and Nightmare. I'm hoping it's a bridge between recruit and veteran, because that seems like such a massive jump in difficulty. That new co-op mode, I think we're all hoping that this is going to be a campaign versus, because that would be really friggin' cool. Melee updates, I hope they make more attack patterns and stuff. If you're familiar with Vermintide 2, it'd be really cool to have some stuff like the Melee and Vermintide 2 in game, but I don't know, we'll see. This isn't a Melee focused game, but it'd be cool to have that kind of Melee support. And then joining mid-game via quick play, wrong starter card, that'll be nice to have fixed. That doesn't seem like it'd affect things too much, but it'll be super nice to have fixed. So yeah, overall, those are the changes that we expect to have coming out. So new things in testing. Those will be some nice fixes. Hopefully they fix that special spawn really soon. Maybe they get it out for December. That'd be nice, but we'll see. But overall, good stuff here. So like I said earlier, this is the first video that we're going to be diving into. The next videos, we're probably going to be looking more into the mechanics of the game and some of the interactions and breakpoints in there. So keep an eye on those. If you want to join in for these live, the link to my Twitch is down in the description. And I am legally obligated to remind you to do this, but like and subscribe, because nobody likes me. I'm all alone in the world. All right, well, farewell, Internet. Have a good day.